Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you will always have access to dietitian approved, nutritious, and delicious meals.
Head to factormeals.com/goodchildren50 for 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month.
That's factormeals.com/goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month.
It has been a busy season of traveling and events.
Girl, I know.
And my wardrobe is taking a beating.
But even if a total overhaul isn't in your budget, you could replace some of those worn out pieces with high quality and affordable pieces from Quince.
Upgrade your wardrobe with pieces that are made to last from Quince.
Go to quince.com/goodchildren for free shipping and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/goodchildren for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/goodchildren. Are we good to go, you guys? Everyone?
I'm feeling like we're good.
Everyone's saying yes behind the cameras.
We're good. Thanks, Mom.
Mr. Spielberg, do you like the way it looks?
Yeah, the producers of, or the networks of Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, everyone's here? Okay.
They're all here?
They're because this is pitch day.
Actually, what's going to happen is this is a screen test, and if we don't work out, they're going to replace us with Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt. So
because we look exactly like them.
Fingers crossed this could be the last episode.
Who are you, Bryce Dallas? Or I guess it's Bryce Dallas.
Well, I guess I kind of, I have to. I mean, look at me.
Look at you.
Look at me. It's kind of undeniable that I guess I'm the Bryce Dallas Howard of this dynamic.
No, you look amazing.
In every duo, there's a Bryce Dallas Howard and there's a Chris Pratt. There's one who is a Nepo baby and one who builds giant crosses on Easter Sunday that he spends with Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter after he abandoned Anna Faris. I wasn't actually trying to say that like that you would do that, but like I just wanted to explain what Chris Pratt did.
No, it felt like after explaining that, unfortunately, it made a lot more sense for me.
You think that you would marry a Schwarzenegger, abandon Anna Faris? Anna Faris? I
take back what I said. I don't think that makes sense for me, and I think it's crazy that you would say it. But
I didn't say it. That's what I was saying. I was just giving the backstory to the lore. I mean, listen, Bryce Dallas Howard did terrible things too. She's a Nepo baby. People hate them.
But you do look like a Nepo baby.
Thank you. I mean, in some ways...
You are.
No, not at all. I was going to say, in some ways, so do you. Well, one in particular.
It's just like, you had to bring it into the new set as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like something that you've been really leaning into, I feel like.
But I think that, I don't think anything's ever going to change, but like...
BPA?
If there's going to be constant BPAs in my whole life, and I think it's just my face.
Well, it's going to get interesting. I feel like when you and Ben Platt both age, like, I can only assume, I mean, well, no, we know what the trajectory of your aging process is going to look like. You're going to be nipped and tucked in a crazy way.
Yeah, I'm going to look
maybe
like
you won't
a Ken
look alike
doll
anymore. Well, I was going to say Brandy Glanville, but I feel like either option works. So I guess maybe at some point your paths will diverge, but should you both choose to age gracefully like Sarah Jessica Parker, I feel like as the skin loosens and wrinkles and like leathers, you would almost be like completely identical.
I feel like I'm going to look like...
Andrew Cuomo's stand before us.
And only... one.
I only have one picture in my hand.
I feel like I'm going to look like Sarah Jessica Parker in 5 years.
That's my goal.
I do want to just preface by saying I might not look different, but I feel really different. And
why?
Are you looking at me and you're saying I'm the cleanest I've ever been?
Oh my God, you're African net sponge. Kiara. This is for you.
Kiara. This one's for you. I feel clean. I feel like, did it hurt a little bit?
Well,
yes.
Did you read... Oh, I didn't even give you the instructions.
No instructions.
You're supposed to soak it for 15 minutes to get the fish smell out of it.
Oh, so I that's why I stink like tilapia?
Yeah. I also didn't read the instructions, and then I went to the listing because I wanted to see if like the reviews were like, this smells like unwashed foreskin, and as it turns out, the directions say, like, you gotta soak it in hot water for 15 minutes. So I soaked 2 of mine in my bathtub yesterday.
Oh, that's really nice.
But it still kind of smelled like Finding Nemo in there. And I don't know how to fix that. And then I was wondering, well, where is this fish smell coming from? Because, when you, like, order a cheaply screen printed shirt sometimes or something and it smells like fish.
Of course.
And we all just kind of accept that.
Yeah, and some of us just wear it out.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. I'm sure of that. But someone in the reviews said it's made with recyclable material, and then they said I can only assume it's made with like fishing nets. Like, these are reused fishing nets.
That makes sense.
But I'm like, are they literally taking the fishing nets
fish
out of the ocean and then packaging them up and calling them African net sponges on Amazon? Probably. I don't think it's actually an African net sponge.
And I'm rubbing my body with it.
But do you feel really smooth?
I feel really smooth, but like in the process of rubbing my body, it's kind of like pain? I'm screaming for pain. And I was just going against my chest, and it kind of hit nip, and I kind of was like.
There have been times, though, in my darkest hours, that's being scrubbed.
I know.
From hole.
From here all the way underneath.
From tip to hole.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be, I mean, it's like, like when you're like the most, I mean, this is the perfect segue. When you're the most like hyper aware of the fact that you're about to have sex.
Yes.
And you're like, I need to smell like nothing. I need to smell like a baby angel.
Yes.
I have taken any kind of exfoliator like that and just fully gone to town on the glands, on the hole, on the balls.
I mean, for me, again, I think we've said this before on an episode. It's like, I don't just want to smell like a new. I'm not even gonna say that. You said
I know
baby
I said
angel.
it, but I know I said baby angel, and I was like,
but that was a good way to put it.
it.
No, baby angel's better than saying a newborn baby, because that just seems like
feels a little worse.
Get locked up. Yeah, no, I don't only want to smell like a gorgeous baby powder. I want to smell like you just plucked me out of a floral arrangement, a peach dish. You want to.
Well, hold on now, because everything's changing. So you want to smell like a fucking peach cobbler? You want someone to pull down your underwear?
Open me up and smell like a peach souffle.
Now I have a follow-up for that. Do you think that's ever been the case? Do you think anyone's ever spread cheek, got nose deep, and said, it smells like Martha's Country Bakery in here?
I actually, because again, I live in delusion. So in my delusional head, I'm thinking they get in there and again, it smells like I just whipped up a pie. It's Waitress the musical.
It's sugar, butter, flour.
Yeah. So that's how I feel, regardless if that's the truth or not.
I feel like, that's hard to process. Because now we have this mental image in our heads, everyone collectively. And actually, just last night, our friend Eric said, well, I mean, I guess you had pre-existing conversation, but Eric turned to me and said, can I ask you a question about the podcast? Does Andrew often reference his hole? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I could tell you every single thing about it. And then Eric said that Andrew recently told him.
I was like, no, I don't really even talk, because Eric was saying to me that I was talking about my hole in like a sexual way.
He was confused, and I didn't want to clarify because we were in a public space.
He was thinking fill to the brim with cum.
He was thinking fill to the brim with cum, but actually it was with shit. And that's why
I was like, have I been talking about my hole in a sexual way?
Never.
Absolutely not. Sometimes
on Patreon all the time.
On Patreon, but on this podcast, not normally. No. It's normally like what I'm doing, like when I'm doing number 2, and like that's usually it.
Right.
But so I was like, no, I'm not talking about being a slut with my hole.
No.
He said fill to the brim.
Fill to the brim. He didn't realize what that meant.
So Eric, I know you're listening, and if you're listening, it wasn't what you thought.
We were around too many strangers and professionals for me to clarify that meant shit. But
and he said never stop. Never stop talking about that.
Yeah, keep going. As our manager Phil says, keep going.
Do you think that people are enabling me to like go so far deep that it's like?
I think I'm to blame. I would say I feel like the past 2 years I have encouraged you to lean so far into your worst attributes.
Yeah.
Well, not your worst. The worst attributes that maybe someone else a stranger would perceive about you.
Yeah.
For Chris me, Pratt. It's like, that's just normal. What?
I'm the Chris Pratt.
You're the Chris Pratt.
So
no, it's like the most disgusting attributes, I guess is the correct term. I have really been like, and tell us more about that.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the shit in your underwear.
Tell us more about turtling, you know?
Well, I don't know if I've actually, now that I think about it, it might be all voluntary. Because usually I repulse at it.
But I get that, but I guess as the editor of the podcast, like you are somebody who has that second eye on it that you're like, okay, leave it in. And at this point, I'm so far gone. I've
gotten to the point where I might have been fucking listening when I added the podcast.
I'm sure.
At this point. Welcome to the new set.
Welcome to the new set. We're still like adding things as we go, but I feel really comfortable. Well, it might not look like we feel comfortable.
Everyone's
in these chairs.
Concerned. All the patrons are so concerned. We did an episode last week. It was us bearing our souls.
Yeah.
And the comments were saying, "Are those chairs remotely comfortable?"
Their hands, and you know what? Like sometimes I need to be gripped like this.
I need a good hand job.
I want to sit on a hand like that.
You want to be fisted?
I guess that's kind of how I explained it, but not really. Good children.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Good Children, the podcast where hosts Joe Hedges
and Andrew Muscarella reflect on our 24 years of friendship,
growing up in the late 2000s,
early 2010s,
and all of the nostalgia,
trauma,
and more gay sex that goes along with it.
We just can't stop talking about it. I feel like it's like almost every 5 weeks at this point, I just want to talk about sex.
And I'll tell you why, because the YouTube algorithm favors it. It may demonetize our content every single time, but I don't even know how to get paid out. So it's kind of like, it's just like, it's no one's business. Like every week YouTube is flagging the episodes being like, partial monetization. I'm just like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm not even asking why anymore.
I don't even know that YouTube paid us.
The episodes are like ranking food demonetized. I'm like, sure. I'm
because
sure
it's
we
like,
said faggot.
Because it's like ranking food and then it's like, I want to suck a corn dog till it's dry. You know? And it's like, why do we have to get to
I don't think anyone said that week. And it was like last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't think anyone brought that up.
We never said like, I want to like eat out a calzone like it's
a good boy. That sounds more familiar. I don't think calzones were even brought up, but I have definitely heard us talk about eating out calzones before, either privately or publicly.
I mean, and if you're ever looking for experience or practice, a calzone is a great practicing method.
Were you practicing eating out before you got your hands on your first ass?
Absolutely. Well, let's not forget. I tried to figure it out before I got in. Oh my God. I can't even say the word. Pussy.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Continue.
Why did I just get like a tingle down my entire body? Like we talk about hole every single second. Like,
well, it's not like, I want to clarify, at least for me, maybe you feel differently.
Yeah.
I feel like there is such a misogynist trend among gay men where it's like pussy, vagina is disgusting.
No, don't even get me wrong.
I feel like a disgusting pervert when I bring up those things. Because I feel like I'm just another man objectifying a woman. When I'm objectifying a man, who gives a fuck?
I'm not grossed out by it at all.
No, of course not.
Of course not. But it's just saying those words that just don't feel natural to me.
Us. Yeah.
And I feel like I did something wrong.
I feel like Andrew Tate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I can only assume. I have no idea what his entire platform is.
I'm like, are you familiar with Andrew Tate's
No, not
work?
at all. But I always think Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan. Andrew and
You're
Joe.
Right.
That's the other Andrew and
Joe.
Joe.
But I feel like I don't know anything about Joe Rogan at all, but like I do believe that he's a little bit
certainly
better than Andrew Tate.
He's not like arrested. He's not like in prison.
You're right.
So yeah, I think that he's certainly better.
Andrew Tate,
Miley
Joe
was
Rogan.
on like Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of these situations are coming to one head.
It makes sense because I'll be arrested.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, like disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that yes, I did practice and
How? On what?
My hand. Joe, of course. This
was not only lips, it was also a hole.
This hand can be lips, it can be a hole, it can be anything that you want it to be. It could, you can eat with these hands, you can wipe with these hands.
What?
I'm just being so serious.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like, how do you wipe?
Oh, I thought you meant like without tissue paper.
Oh, my God, no, I'm not scooping the pooping.
Yeah.
No, I'm not barebacking my shit. Like, that would be insane. I just want to delete this episode.
I know. It's really like, it's olden times. It's because for the first time now in over a year. It's our first time recording without my mom being downstairs.
I know.
So it does feel like the pod took a more conservative leaning approach. I mean, which maybe may shock listeners considering the subject matter never really changed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, practice on my hand. What about you? Like, have you like...
I remember, no, I don't think I ever necessarily practiced. I mean, I did play the trombone.
You're right.
And I know that
Joe,
it's a gaper.
But that mouthpiece is
Well, I've said it before about the trombone mouthpiece that I would put in my mouth every single week or every other
Talk
day.
about stinking like fish.
No, it didn't stink like fish. It always smelled like a Buffalo Wild Wings. It always tasted like buffalo.
Was it because you were having the Snyder's Buffalo pretzel pieces?
Well, no, but those would keep my mouth tasting like that forever. No, it was like zero period. I'm showing up to school at 6th grade. I'm taking out my trombone out of its little case. I never brought it home because I never practiced. I would just leave it in school. And then sometimes my band teacher would be like, girl, like, you need to take this shit home. Like, that's part of the job. And I would just like bring it home, leave it in my room, and then bring it back to school. I would never open that thing ever. But so that's even more curious why this is happening. So zero period, I'm opening it up. I'm putting that in. I'm putting my brass mouthpiece into the whatever the hole, and I always, without fail, it was. I could smell it so vividly, and maybe it's something to do with brass. Is it brass?
I feel it. Yeah, that's a brass instrument. I feel like.
But is the mouthpiece brass?
No.
So whatever that mouthpiece is, like I doubt silver.
I think we were blowing silver.
I just remember it tasting.
It's just your spit just lingers and stays there, and it's just like ferments.
And I feel like if my spit were to ferment, it would taste like Buffalo Wild Wings. Every 15 minutes in this new studio, the air conditioner makes this noise, even when it's off.
You're kidding me.
I was down here yesterday with it off for a long time, and it would just do that.
I don't think that's normal because I have the same air conditioning in my room, and it never makes that sound.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
We're just gonna push past it.
We're gonna push past it.
I'm pushing past. So were you saying that you're practicing on your trombone?
So I feel like
mouthpiece?
I remember, like I feel like the most similar tonguing experience I could remember, and you brought up double tonguing with the French horn. I feel like I remember like getting my tongue deep into that hole, not like in a sexual way at all, but it's reminiscent of that.
Exactly like when you have a popsicle. And I'm not sexualizing popsicles.
I was
and
never
I know it's
doing
weird.
that. I was definitely deep throating bananas in high school just to see
how far you can get.
But I couldn't peel it because God forbid it like fell off in my mouth, so I had to deep throat it with the peel on.
To me, that feels almost. I guess that's really smart.
It was safe. It was safety. It was safety first there.
You're always practicing.
It was the condom, honestly.
But I mean, I think it gets to a point once you turn like a certain age where the popsicle and the lollipop become like, this is funny.
Not for me. I never really felt that way.
You've never sucked a popsicle in private?
No, I've never done that. And I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to make you feel othered. I'm not trying to isolate you.
A zucchini?
No. Don't bring that shit up. But no. Never. Oh, well. I guess I've seen a cucumber in personal spaces before. Never up my asshole.
I don't. And I'm not yucking anybody's yum because it could be very yummy. But I think that a vegetable or a fruit anywhere in any orifice, to me...
But girl, don't you feel like that's like how they were doing it?
Back in the day?
Yeah, like how were like people doing it before? I mean, I think actually... correct me if I'm wrong. I love to be the resident historian. I'm pretty sure that throughout history, one of the not most found artifacts, but throughout history, they are always digging up dildos.
You're
They've
kidding.
been making that shit since Mesopotamia. People have been horny fucks since Mesopotamia, and we have to sit on this podcast and pretend we're not.
Do you think that I'm really interested in the history of dildos now. Like, do you think
I'm sure there's a 2-hour YouTube video you could watch.
And the person's like, the history of dildos is gonna be, and you're like, oh my God, shut up.
You're looking at the wrong content.
Yesterday I was watching a crumble cookies thing.
Well, that
the guy was talking
it.
like a crazy person, but I watched the entire 15 minutes and they're not doing well. Anyways,
of course not. Sorry, Mr. Crumble.
I've said it before.
I was just thinking that you said that. This is horrible.
It's horrible. It's horrible because like I guess like what I'm recognizing is like I'm the bully.
You're the bully. You want to out Mr. Crumble.
I'm not going to say it any longer, but I do think until you can figure out who you are, your business will crumble.
That's horrible.
I'm sorry.
That's so horrible.
That's really bad.
I feel like...
Did we post a clip? Did we ever post a clip to the internet?
No, I would never do that. But I think you're projecting onto Mr. Crumble what you wish to see, which is you want to be Mrs. Crumble.
Yes, because, again, can you imagine what that home would smell like? He would take care of me. Actually, I think that...
I have a feeling it would be a really toxic relationship between you and Mr. Crumble. And this is all alleged, because I've never actually even seen or heard of this person, like, outside of you bringing him up. Because he could be completely fictional.
Because I think that I would be like, let me help. Like, I want to help. Like, I love
baking. Get out of my kitchen.
But then I think that he would put me in the kitchen so much that I would lose sight of
who you were,
who I was. Yeah. I'd be frosting cookies.
But you'd be happy about that. I feel like you kind of would feel fulfilled.
Because like if let's
a sense of purpose.
Can you imagine? I was
frosting
cookies
while he's frosting your cookie.
While he has his cookie log up that oven.
All right, so what the fuck is a cookie log?
I was just thinking like when they have like the Pillsbury cookie rolls.
Yeah.
You know, like that log.
Yeah, okay.
I would assume. But back to the history of dildos.
Yes.
I almost am interested to see like as time has evolved, because we are like an excessive country and an excessive world, like we want things so big.
Well, it's
like
crazy now.
Is it like were the dildos back in the day like smaller?
And you're asking me, and I know that I do present as someone who would have an answer for that. I'm not quite positive, but I was actually the other day looking at like sometimes I'll just like want to see what they're coming up with next, because it always is really interesting what they're doing with dildos. And would you ever use, and this isn't anything to do with penis size. Okay. People are doing this just for fun. Like a penis extender. Like there's like sleeves you can put on top of your own dick, and then you use like there's like a ball strap, like a seatbelt, so it doesn't slip off, and then you roll that on top of your own dick, and then you use that.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
We're on different sides of the internet.
Can you imagine?
No, so I'm fastening the seatbelt.
I'm
adding a little I'm adding the extension and I'm saying let's go.
Yes, and it's less. I don't know if it's pleasurable.
Oh, is it for like? Is it for?
I think it's for size insecure people.
Okay,
but I also feel like
But you know what? That's beautiful.
Yeah, but I also think part of it is like I feel like my camera's been slowly falling, which I wouldn't be surprised about. I think that I was reading reviews because I was like, I have to know if this is working. And Absolutely. I'm obsessed with reading reviews. And people were like, I just wanted this just to try it out. Like, I have a normal sized dick. Actually, one of them said, like, you can only use this if your dick is above 7 inches. So that's not really size insecure.
What do you mean?
But it's like girth. It was 8 inches of girth.
Oh.
8 inches of girth.
But I've realized and I've learned over time that you can really, I guess that's what fisting is. It really doesn't matter about the width. It's more the length that's the problem. Like width, you can fit anything in there. Mm-hmm. A watermelon. I can sit on a watermelon if I wanted to.
Well, you just said you don't want to go anywhere near fruit.
You're right. I would never. I would never, but I think that I could if I wanted to. Like I'm looking right now at like the most phallic mushroom, and like it's just
the mushroom from season 1.
I know it's kind of just big. 8 inches of girth.
Yeah,
people are sick.
And that one, I think there was one I saw that had like the tip cut out, so your actual like glands were outside of it, so you were able to. Why are you freaking out?
My glands are on the outside. I don't like that word.
Well, it's like your head, the head of your dick. So that's on the out, like that's like at the tip. So you still, I guess, get all of the pleasure and like the sensation, and you can also come. But then like from that point, from tip below, you're going out to 8 inches, and then you're coming back down to the ball strap.
It's people just kind of like
their desks. People are at work.
People have listened to some of our recent episodes and we're like, that was inspiring. That was so emotional.
People we know listen.
My mother is listening. So it's just, but you know what? It's conversations that people aren't willing to have.
Once a quarter. Once a quarter.
Once a quarter, you know we're gonna drop it.
Yeah.
And I haven't dropped it.
You haven't bottomed.
No.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, Joe. It's okay, but I do know it is a mission for me.
Yeah, it's going to be great when it happens, but do you think that maybe you're like building up too much now? Like is the pressure kind of on? Like, do you think that when the day comes, you're gonna have like performance anxiety and close up?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, listen, like it's happened earlier this year, and it was like I had 2 minutes in me, and that's never fun for the other person.
No.
You know, so I need to get back to it, and I need to get back to being serious in the bedroom.
Well, I feel like, I mean, I understand that, and I feel like to the 2 minutes point, I feel like I actually really worry for the youngins who like are starting bottoming for the first time, or not really like having conversations, because I feel like there are times when I have chosen to just sit through the pain.
Oh,
and like this must be what it's supposed to feel like, and you're sitting there and you're like hemorrhoid, tear, anal fissure, burning, pain, and then you're like, okay, that was so good.
Yeah.
But I feel like as I've gotten older, I mean, obviously now I'm just gonna put my foot down when things don't make sense for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's so common. I feel like it's so common to be like, oh, you know what? It's not gonna work tonight.
I know.
And there's no pressure on that.
But there was moments in my life that it was just like, and there's one man in particular that ended up ghosting me, which tends to be the case. But it was like, we hooked up like 8 times, and I just remember like, if this is what it feels like, I need this every single day. Like, it was amazing. And then there's other people that I would hook up with, and I'm like, owie, owie, ow. But I'll tell you, I think that I went so hard, literally, when I was just coming out, and I was going for hours, that it ruined the trajectory of my bottoming career.
And potentially of your life.
Of my life.
Yeah.
Well, definitely of my life, especially now, because I'm like, I'm suffering the consequences for what happened. But I've been having hemorrhoids since I was in college. So, and nothing was happening there.
I was going to say, it's such a funny thing to say, because it's like saying, like, since I was a child. But, like, since you were in college, of course, nothing was going on.
No, of course, no. It was just Ben and, 2 men in my life, Ben and Jerry. That's definitely who started it. And then after Ben and Jerry, it kind of was like, once the seal was broken, once I was ready to go. But now I'm like Miss Top, which is so messed up. Like, it's like, why do you call me Miss Top?
Well, Francesco called you Miss Top, and now I think it's the perfect name for you. Yeah, I guess that's actually a great conversation, because it's like, I feel like we both, I mean, I see it all the time on the internet. We're both constantly presumed bottoms. Yep. We're CPBs in a lot of ways, constantly presumed bottoms.
Yeah.
And I
want merch.
Constantly presumed bottom. Or unfairly presumed bottom. But I think it's crazy, and I'm sure we've talked about this a few times, but I feel like the assumption that anyone's sexuality, anyone's sexual preference has anything to do with their style, their tone of voice, their vibes, their music interests, the way that their home looks. Like, I find that pretty shocking.
Yeah. To walk around
so ass backwards. We're gay, and you're gonna instill the gender norms.
It's because, like, I guess people assume tops are just more masculine,
which I don't get. I'm like, you want to fuck a man's asshole, no matter what, you're a faggot. You know what I mean?
Well, and there goes the partial payment. There goes our any money this episode.
It's just so dumb. That's why I also don't get mass culture. I'm like, okay, like,
I know
you're masculine. You want boy pussy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's true. But like when it comes to the bedroom, it's kind of like
time to put on the show.
I'm not even necessarily putting on a show. I just feel like as of lately, it's more like, it's not even masculine. I just am a little bit more dominant.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's more like just secure in yourself. Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't think it has to do anything with body, how you speak, how you dress, anything. I know some people who are very straight dressing gay men that take it like no other.
Of course. Well, of course they do. Yeah,
of course they do. They're almost the freaks.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the power bottoms of Brooklyn. It's no longer you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's no longer me. And I saw recently the new power bottom of Brooklyn walking around.
What do you mean?
I just know it's him.
What do you mean? Someone's taken your place?
Yeah. Well, I felt it was actually weird. Like when we moved here.
To the new apartment?
No, in in Williamsburg. When we moved to Brooklyn, I was ready to go and I was getting it. I was feeling amazing. And then I saw a new face pop up on my screen.
Okay.
And he I presume is the new power bottom of Brooklyn, because there's Twitters associated, there's everything. So I'm like, you're getting it. And I see him walking around and I'm like,
good for him.
Good for him. That's like, I'm happy I passed my torch on to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, be so serious.
What?
How do you like factory meals?
Okay, actually, on the real, and I know it's an ad, and we all know it's an ad, and like we can just suspend our disbelief for 1 second. Like, on the real, I genuinely, because we receive Factor, they send it to us like once a month.
Yeah.
And those weeks when the Factor is in are the most productive and healthy weeks of my life, because I actually know, no matter what, if I'm too busy to make dinner, if I forget to have lunch in the house for some reason, I know it's secured, it's in the bag, and I know I'm gonna have a delicious meal. And I always feel healthier.
Always.
And I always feel better, I guess is what I should say.
Sometimes I'm like, I feel bad that I'm like, oh, I'm so lazy. I don't have time to eat. Like, I'm going to go run and go pay for something.
Waste
and then it
money.
ends like to be like $25 and I'm saving money. And I'll tell you something. The chef recommended meals, chefs for a reason.
Yes.
Because the honey mustard chicken, to die for, with the side dishes, and then always like there's always a green, there's always like some sort of grain, like, and you feel so healthy. It's fresh. And I know we're Italian, and I know I talk sauce a lot. But the pasta dishes are top notch.
It's unbelievable.
Nona's bolognese. Even like if you're going different genre, stroganoff, don't even get me started. And if you were to have a friend over and put it on a different plate,
they would have no idea. And actually, like, it is, I encourage you to try it for the month for the 50% off, because I want you to experience what it's like to bite into a meal from Factor and be just actually shocked that it came out of your microwave. Like, it's actually insane.
And I love food. I'm telling you, I would not be steering you wrong. I think the food is genuinely amazing.
We were Factor heads before the ad.
True.
So head to factormeals.com/goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month.
That's factormeals.com/goodchildren50 for 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month while your subscription is still active. Thank you, Factor.
Thank you, Factor. Andrew, I've noticed that you've been spending a lot of time in your room lately.
I'll tell you why, and it's because of my Quince quilt comforter. It is so soft. It is so soft. I never want to leave my bed. It is just like lightweight as well. That duvet cover, I'm obsessed with it. And
the color is gorgeous.
The color is gorgeous, burnt orange. And I have people over, and you know what? I'm throwing out, you can't sit on my bed with your outside clothes. No, sit on my bed with your outside clothes. I want you to feel that comforter.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I mean, I feel like I love Quince, to your point. I mean, the homeware is amazing, but also they offer affordable, high quality clothing, which I am such a huge proponent of. I've wasted, I'll say it, of dollars on labels that mark up their prices.
Yeah.
And I'll say the pieces that I've kept, the pieces that have lasted the longest in my wardrobe, that I feel I invested the right amount of money in, were made with the same products, same high quality products, for a lower price point. And that's what Quince's whole deal is.
And it's like 50 to 80% less than any of those brands. And you look amazing in those clothes. You're getting cashmere sweaters for $50. Like, are you serious?
It's worth the investment. It's not going to end up in a landfill.
So upgrade your wardrobe with pieces that are made to last from Quince.
Head to quince.com/goodchildren for free shipping and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/goodchildren for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/goodchildren.
Thanks, Quince.
Thanks, Quince.
Anyways, yeah, we're not just bottoms. Like, Joe likes to top too.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know. I'm sorry. If anything, I'll say it. I feel like you are more adventurous in the bedroom than I have ever been.
Really?
Yes, correct. I feel like
I do some weird, I'll just kind of, at this point, I've been broken down so mentally that I will just say yes to kind of anything and just see what happens.
It's like, I feel like you kind of have some different gizmos and gadgets. It's kind of like you have the like, Brookstone of sex.
I've made my foray into, there's gooning, there's baiting.
Yeah.
I'm not really gooning, period. But, I
mean, with that brain, it's hard
still
to
intact, no matter what. But yeah, no, I feel like I love a gadget. I love a gizmo. I always have ever since Billy Mays, which also hard pivot. What's going on in this fucking country?
What?
Well, I mean, we know what's going on in this country. Are you scrolling on TikTok a lot at all?
Not recently.
It's gotten so scary. It's so dark, and someone I know, Ethan, just posted about this, but everybody on TikTok is trying to sell you a product. Every single fucking video is someone being like, I had no idea that I needed this. I needed this iPhone like screen mount so I could make my videos front facing without having to look at my camera. Like, this is making all my content so much better, and you can buy it on the TikTok shop. And it's like, I literally am obsessed with these shorts. Like, these shorts are so great. They're only $0.01, and you can buy them on the TikTok shop with my coupon for $0.01.
People are trying to cash a check.
But every single video is literally people, and it's like, it's so Black Mirror, it's so bleak, but also like, I really have realized there's a reason advertisers make a lot of money, because these ads are abysmal. You're begging people to buy a produce chopper, and I respect the hustle, because look at us, you know what I mean? Like,
and we're not necessarily hustling, but I mean, we take it back. We are hustling, but we're not posting TikTok shop clips.
No, but I understand that, like, that could be your entire source of income, and I don't blame the people. I blame the system, because it's fucking weird. It's really bleak, and it is just always so insidious. Every video is like, I literally like my, and it's always, I'm sorry to the South, but I just also love doing accent work. I kind of don't think.
Should we just talk in a Southern accent the entire time?
I could do any accent you really ask, but I
literally
am so obsessed with this water bottle. Like, this water bottle has completely changed my life. It's made me drink more water, and I think everybody needs to get it for $4.99 in the TikTok shop. And it's like, we don't need to buy anything else. We don't need to buy anything else. We've had enough.
But I mean,
I need a cucumber chopper.
It's almost better. Joe, I almost feel like I have it upstairs.
Andrew, please.
I feel like I have.
Do you know about Logan?
See, this is the thing. You like to say that you don't want to scroll. You're seeing these people, and then now you're bringing up Logan. Like, is Logan selling products?
Logan is not selling products, and every real bitch knows Logan. Logan is this little twink who is... I don't want to call him that. Logan is this gay man who, he is a twink, but I just feel like that was almost really nasty of me. But he is like a cucumber twink. Like, his whole thing is like, he's chopping up cucumbers.
Okay.
And he's making cucumber salads, and they're all different.
Ooh, love.
And he's just taking a whole cucumber and going like this. It shaves right down. He fills up a Tupperware, like a takeout container Tupperware, to the brim with cucumber. And then it's like, throw in some avocado, throw in some cream cheese, throw in some fucking smoked salmon, some capers, some red onions.
And that cucumber's bringing a nice crunch.
Shake it the fuck up. You shake it the fuck up, and then you take your chopsticks and you just eat it.
Oh, see, I'd be interested in that.
And that's why I have a bunch of cucumbers in the fridge. That's the only reason.
Are you going to do it?
I made one the other day, but I made like a normal cucumber salad, like with like sesame oil and like furikake, and that's it. Yeah.
I'd be interested in the one with cream cheese.
And then there's also egg flights.
And this is why I stay off of TikTok sometimes, because I'm like, I'd get so in a hole, and while I still need to be in others, and I can't. What the hell is an egg flight?
It's like you make some jammy hard-boiled eggs, and then which is a word that I sometimes struggle to say.
Jammy.
No, hard-boiled eggs. I go for like hard-boiled.
Because you're Southern.
It's like fully like fucking Paula Deen. I go like hard-boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs is like literally how my instinct is to say that word is hard-boiled.
Well, it depends on who
I think it's like family lineage.
Yeah. Well, because again, I think that our families, like, they add ours to some things that don't need to have them.
Hard-boiled eggs. Anyway, you make some jammy hard-boiled eggs. You have them. There's accent work.
He's been gooning.
You have them, and then you add some of them. Again, you do a cream cheese, a smoked. Of course. You make that one. But then there's also like you're throwing like pesto on one. Yeah. You're throwing like a mustard. Like they're all different. They're all different. Some of them look disgusting to me. But every day I wake up and I crave a hard-boiled egg flight. And I just don't have it in me to boil eggs.
I can boil some eggs for you.
It's okay. I can do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I feel like I should. I feel like if I'm going to do this thing, I should do it myself.
Did you know? I didn't know this trick. I just recently saw it. And maybe this is because, like, I'm living under a rock. But I've been using eggs. I've been having egg cartons in my fridge for months. And I've been using the eggs. Eating eggs. Just put it in water. I never knew that.
If it sinks.
Am I dumb as hell?
It's like the witch trials, yeah. I don't know how. You didn't think your eggs expired?
I just thought it's an egg.
It's a miracle you're here.
It truly, truly is. But listen.
Back to baiting and gooning.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you feel, and this could be like an opinion, a judgment, and anything, but how do you feel about gay men or just men in general that sexualize themselves on the internet as just their thing?
You want me to get canceled?
No, I don't want you to get. I'm willing to open the discussion because I've been just seeing a lot of it lately.
Well, what do you mean? Like people? I mean, like you mean like OnlyFans creators?
No, it's like you're doing other content, but you're just like slutting it up. It's like your dick is flopping in your shorts, but you're like a comedian.
Here's the thing. I need a cigar. I think there are times when the two of us have leaned into that.
Yeah.
To get a quick view.
I mean, like
we've done naked Patreons. You know
course.
what I mean? Like,
I mean, sometimes I do my fitness videos and like my bulge is out, but like
right.
I'm not really like, but it's still whatever.
I think it's money's money. We all got to make it, to quote Vanessa Hudgens in that store that time when she was selling water.
You're right.
I'm the only person who saw that video, but it comes back to me. Money's money. We all got to make it. And I respect the hustle. As I said earlier about TikTok Shop, I worry for their souls and their spirits and their hearts, because if your trade is something that's not serving trade, and your main mission is like, I'm going to get people in by flopping my dick around, that worries me. But I also am only speaking from my POV because I feel like I get very caught up in being perceived as attractive, and I feel like that would kill me. If every joke I made was also like I needed to look really good in it, like even on this podcast, if I needed to look exceptionally hot in every episode, I would kill myself. Or you know what I mean? But
I feel like you're always going to be perceived. I'll post a video and it's the most insane thing ever. And it's like, oh, so hot.
And I always welcome that. I have no problem receiving a compliment ever.
I mean, to some, it's a hack.
It's a hack. It is a hack. It's like, how do I actually game the system? But
and I thought
are your jokes funny? Is the content good? Yeah. I think appearances only take you so far.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I'm not even going to bring it up because I don't know like how others feel about it, but like, no, it's not even worth.
What is it? No, what is it? No, sorry,
I was going to bring up Troye Sivan and sucking the microphones on stage.
I haven't really seen any of this shit.
Oh, okay. He's really leaning in. I will say he's really leaning into sex, and I guess there's not a fine line. Like you can suck as many microphones as you want on a stage. To me, I'm kind of like, we get it. I don't know.
I feel like every pop girl ever like hypersexualizes herself. Yeah. So now the moment one gay man does it, you have a problem with it.
It's like Miley Cyrus was like fingering herself on the bed.
Yeah, literally fingering herself on the bed during bangers.
You're right. I guess I'm jealous.
I think 98% of like gay critique is just jealousy.
For sure.
Always. I mean, well, gay on gay critique.
Yes.
But I mean, even me saying the whole sex sells thing. Like if I looked like that, I'd be doing it tomorrow.
I'd
be doing it tomorrow. Actually, my entire account will be me with no shirt on, like easy. And sometimes I do lean into it just because I'm like, this will maybe work a little bit.
And I'd be swinging.
If I had a soft 8-inch uncut cock, you would never see me behind a microphone again in my entire life.
No.
In my entire life.
No. I would be in this studio.
It'd be a whole different studio.
Clear out these seats.
We'd be getting to work.
Yeah. And it would be a Bigfoot breeding area, I can tell you that. I don't fuck with people who say I want to get you pregnant. I don't fuck with it.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. So what made you bring that up?
I was thinking about breeding areas. And
well, it's a really fine line when it comes to this shit. Like, what do you mean you're going to get me pregnant?
To me, it's like that takes it one step too far.
I'm like, are you a straight man? Like, are you a straight man with a breeding kink?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I know that exists, but I'm saying you're a gay man.
Yes, but they want to feel like they have that ability to still impregnate you.
But I'm like, girl,
like, wake up.
Yeah, what do you mean?
You have to think about it this way, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, we love fantasy. You love to, like, live in a delusional fantasy world. You're playing pretend, and, like, I think for them, that's their form of creativity.
They have to pick up a fucking journal and get to work. Get some watercolors, bitch. You're gonna make me pregnant? Look at me. You're gonna get me pregnant?
Yeah, it's really shocking. It's really shocking. But it was on my mind.
Has someone recently said this to you?
Yeah.
I feel like
it's definitely been said to me multiple times before in my life.
People are, and you're like, yeah.
Yes. I mean, like, when you're in that,
you're like, oh my God, gender reveal party.
I'm like, I wish.
What?
I don't know, you guys. I really don't know how that came out, but I think that sometimes when you're in a sexual situation and the other person is the dominant one, you kind of sometimes just go along with whatever they're saying because it's already happening. So there's been situations for sure that I've been in that the person have said something and I'm like, I can't believe you just said that, but here we go. Like, I'm still here.
And that's honestly so many life situations too, though. I feel like I'll be in a social setting where I'll let someone else be dominant and they'll say something crazy and I'll be like, and then continue the conversation. And like, that actually needs to, like, it's same with sexually. Like, if that makes you uncomfortable, you should be like, well, actually, no. Like, what? Like, you shouldn't be saying that. I don't like that. Like, but it is, like, I think that's another issue with sex is also, I think that inhibits you from actually figuring out what you do like. Yeah. If you're just going along with what, like, again, I think it's really easy when you come out, or I'm sure this is kind of similar for people who aren't gay men. But it's easy when you come out to find someone who's more dominant, who's going to kind of take control sexually, and you're just going to go along with whatever they say. Yeah. I said it before, like, when people would ask me on the apps, like, what are you into? I'd be like, well, what are you into? Like, wait for them. Or like, or I'm into anything. Like, what does that mean? Am I into fisting?
I was going to say to you, I was just about to bring up the what are you into. Do you think that's even a question to necessarily ask? I feel like when I ask what are you into, it's kind of like, yes, I need to know if you're a top or if you're a bottom or whatever. Like, and if there are certain kinks you want to get out there, sure. But I'm like, I know that when we get here, we're gonna figure it out. Like, we're just gonna hook up.
I think it's good if you are looking for someone to piss on you. I think it's good if you are looking for someone to, like, fulfill some fantasy for you. But if you're like a vanilla person who's like, you know, I want to, like, it could be a little rough, it could be fun, like, I don't think being the person to say what are you into is beneficial.
No, I think that, like, anytime I've sent it recently, I think it was like more of a, when I newly was out, I was asking these questions, but now I'm kind of like asking what are you into, and I feel like, why did I just ask that question? Yeah. And it's always, the response is always like verse, kissing, oral, rimming.
It's so
pretty
transactional.
Open.
It's so transactional. It's crazy to me. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're like ordering at a fucking drive-thru. You know what I mean?
I'm like, okay.
It's crazy. It's really nuts to me.
I know. It is very transactional.
And that's amazing. Yeah. And that's wonderful. But I don't know.
No, but I'll tell you anything. You can do anything to me, but all I care about is kissing. I think I've said this on the podcast before. All I really need is a good kiss.
I need you to get a boyfriend.
Passionate kissing.
I need you to get a boyfriend.
I'm so close.
To a boyfriend?
I have barely any prospects, but I am so close.
It's kind of crazy. I feel like for the first, like, year and 11 months of this podcast, it was like the Will Andrew get a boyfriend show. Like, it was like the main plot line, and then we just dropped it.
We dropped it. Because I was recognizing, I was like, you know what? I know that our listeners are invested in me getting into a relationship, but I also think that we're building it up into a way that I almost feel really bad for the person I start dating because they're going to be thrust into this narrative that I'm like, okay, let me just give you a play-by-play for the past 2 years. I've been building this up in a crazy way. So when I drop you,
it's gonna
go nuts for you. So I need you to be ready and be willing to accept
it is
that.
Also, like, I feel like what you think you become. And, like, I feel like we've been, like, because I actually, as you were just talking about, like, hookups, I was like, oh, I forgot that, like, that you're single. Like, I actually kind of forgot that about you. I feel like it's no longer your defining characteristic.
Yeah.
But there was a point when, like, your main thing was, like, I don't have a boyfriend and I am lonely.
Because I think that it was my main thing because we were also not as busy as we are now.
Yeah.
I feel like I was just like genuinely sitting at home or like hanging out with you or just whatever. And when I wasn't, I was at home or like trying to go on a date. But now I'm like, I will say what my fear though, I really fear for this and I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm also seeing a world in which I'm like, that's so normal for people is like, I could just be a person who is busy and like hooks up with people here and there, you know, because
girl, you're not that busy. You are not that busy.
I see like even men just on the apps. I'm like, you're 42. And I'm chasing after you. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's a world in where I'm that 42-year-old.
I think everyone I know who's gay will be on the apps at 42.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm still at 42
and it's open,
I'm on the damn apps. You know what I mean? That's actually that's my prime.
You're right.
So I feel like you can still like experience what intimate love is and partnership.
No, I'm so close.
Okay, yeah, I know. That one's confusing me, but I am excited for you. I feel like that's all you kind of need to say, though.
Yeah.
That you're actually ready for it.
It's because I've been in so many, not so many, but like I feel very confident on dates lately. You know what I mean? I feel very comfortable talking to gay men, either if it's romantically or not.
That's kind of, I think, the thing.
And I'm starting to lean into my game. And I think that was what was holding me back because I would always be like the timid one being like, why is no one talking to me? And now I'm kind of like, I think all it took for me was going to the nude beach with you. Mm-hmm. And that's actually it.
I'm telling everyone, get your ass to a nude beach.
Get your ass to a nude beach. It's going to change your life. Just not even like caring. You just don't care. It's just
conversing. When you, and I've been talking about this for years on this podcast, and I'm such a proponent, and I felt like a freak.
We have to be naked.
Yes,
we were meant to be naked.
Yes, but also like when you have a conversation with someone, especially a gay man, not even talking about us, but like the other gay people you spoke to at the beach, and you're completely naked.
Yeah,
it's like what is left? What is left to hide about myself? And it changes like mentally what's left to hide. It's like nothing.
And it's also like when you're having a conversation with a person, one, it's not sexual, you're naked and like nothing's happening. It's kind of just like, again, you feel the most free.
Yes.
And like unshameful. You're feeling amazing.
Yes.
It's just, I feel very free.
Get naked.
Get naked.
Get naked.
And you know what? Get naked around your friends.
Get naked with your friends, I think, is genuinely, it's kind of the lesson.
Get naked with your friends, but don't have in your mind that it's awkward or it's weird. Because when
it's going to be a little weird.
Unless you had like, I mean, like, we don't have feelings for each other. And I think that also is really helpful for like getting naked.
Yeah.
But if you have in your mind, like, I've always maybe thought about like hooking up with Sam, like this is gonna get crazy.
Well, yeah, if you're doing
it's crazy.
If it's an ends to a mean, yes. I would say don't do it. But if it's like you and your girlies,
yeah, girls,
it's like naked. Actually like, oh, who gives a fuck? But it literally, it's like therapy.
Yeah,
it's like therapy.
It's therapy, and sometimes it's like you don't want to wear underwear. Like you know what I mean? Like you don't want to have to wear that. I mean, I've never wore a bra, even though mothers have told me to wear them in my life. You don't have to wear the bra. Take that bra off and take the shirt off and just let everything hang out and feel free and watch that show.
I guess my follow-up is where are you doing this?
At home.
But
on the couch with your friends.
Do you find, like, I get that. But I do think, and we've made the joke a few times, can you imagine me, you, and Garrett sitting upstairs watching girls and all of us have our dicks out? I'm going to go to the fridge. Anyone need anything? Can you refill my water, actually?
Yeah.
Can you grab me a Quest chip pack?
Now that you think, because it's like unless I was like coming from downstairs, if it was like we all got into that room, it was like, take off your clothes. Take off your clothes. Check your clothes at the door. When we start doing check your clothes at the door.
I really want to. My birthday party was almost going to be that.
Well, now it's going to be at an event space.
Yeah.
But I almost think I'm going to whisper in the bouncer's ear and just say,
my birthday party was almost going to be hosted at this apartment, and I was going to turn the room we're currently sitting in into a dark room. It was going to be only red lighting, and it was going to fully be do whatever the fuck you want in this room. And I think it would have been really special for a lot of people. I think a lot of sex would have been happening on these chairs.
Which I guess so. Should we just do that one time?
What?
Like, just like kind of throw a party,
an orgy in this space.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
And we pitch it as like fucking Good Children's Studios.
Yeah, we charge like $50 a head.
Yeah. Do you think that would be the reason we have to stop the podcast?
I think we would. I think the podcast would. I think potentially our lease might end.
Yeah.
I think that our landlords would get wind of that and they wouldn't be thrilled.
And like we really would lose any opportunity to get
I think we'd lose all opportunities. Well, not all.
Not all.
In fact, we might get some.
I think we would just go right into
Pure for Men,
yes.
Grindr, Scruff,
Yeah.
OnlyFans, ads across the board, Mr. for prep, like everything that I love and hold dear to my heart. Trader Joe's coconut oil. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
If you got coconut oil in your kitchen, you better not let Joe in those cabinets.
I'm sorry. Like, I find it crazy that you think that using coconut oil as lube is a strange
No,
thing.
I don't think it's crazy. I just think that when I see the volume of which the coconut oil, like, I feel like you just have a large
It's a normal
amount.
size coconut oil. I had an extra large Astroglide. I have an Astroglide. I had an extra large Swiss Navy lube bottle that was about 3 gallons, and that slowly leaked through. And every morning it would leak, and it wasn't because I was using it nightly. It just at night, I guess something would happen.
And then from a wandering eye, from somebody who's just looking from afar, when you
like,
see that
whoa.
bottle getting to the bottom, you're kind of like, good for him.
No, it would slowly leak, and then I would get up in the morning and like put on socks and go like Fred Flintstone backwards.
Have you ever fell in the room?
Well, it was a small enough room that I was able to catch myself, but it was constantly happening because the whole floor was covered in silicone lube.
If I came into your room and you were
I was
knocked
like, I broke my back
out on your floor,
I threw my back out from the lube.
I would.
No, when we were moving out, I was Googling how to get silicone lube off a floor because I was like, this is dangerous for movers.
What did they say? Pledge?
No, I feel like that actually makes floors
Worse.
slippery as well. But I think it was just soap. I think I was just soaping it up. But it wasn't, it was never enough.
I'll tell you one thing about soaping it up.
Did you know? What?
No, what were you
No,
gonna say?
I want to hear what you have to say, and then I'll remember.
It had nothing to do with soap. I'm not big lubie. I'm not a lubie.
I think you're missing out. I think you're
Like
really missing
on your own personal pleasure.
I used to be team no lube when I was masturbating. Like I was like, what do I need? Especially being like uncut. I'm like, I have a built-in like procedure here. Something has changed within me and something is not the same. And I'm kind of through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. And I am a proud proponent of lube when jerking off. I really am. I think it heightens the experience. I will say one thing.
Well, I mean, and lube and coconut oil.
Well, coconut oil is lube, Andrew. That's what I'm using. I don't have any Swiss Navy.
Making a stir fry in there.
I have no Swiss Navy in my apartment, in my room at least.
Natural. You're natural.
Yeah, I'm just using coconut oil, but it's the best possible lube. Also, it smells amazing and it hydrates you. You're hydrated. Can you imagine how hydrated my dick is?
And can you imagine how hydrated that hole is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily like fingering or like.
Do you rub on before when you stick in?
Like the whole ass?
Yeah.
We've talked about this on Patreon before. You can do that. That's an option. But otherwise, you can just use that like lube.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm very pro. I think you should really
start getting it.
It's annoying because it's like messy. It's like not as easy as just like.
Yeah.
Dry jerking off, but it's a much more pleasurable experience. How could it not be?
You're right.
And then when you get really into it and you like really, really lube up your dick, like it's like so slippery, like that's kind of when it's the best. And these gooners know. These baiters know.
It's just...
You want a slippery penis.
I do.
Yeah, of course.
So bad.
Yeah.
Like, I want this salami wet.
This is the first episode in a month that has ads.
Before
I was gonna
speaking
say,
of soaping
like,
it up,
it's like kind of, it's offensive to ask you this question because I know that you have
say it.
Well, I was wondering how you clean under your foreskin. And I didn't want it. That's why I stopped myself, because I knew it would get sad and dark and concerning and troubling.
But it's actually not even sad or concerning or dark or troubling.
Okay, yeah, good. Reframing.
We're reframing because I'm confident again. I've been in multiple situations that no one's even acknowledged it, or if they have, they're like, that's actually not a problem anymore. And it's always been in my head. And I think that when it comes to the question that you just asked, I do my darndest and I do my best, but I am at risk. And I
imagine no context hearing this. What does any of it mean?
Me not saying anything that those who have listened to the previous episode
you know, and that's why you have to listen to the whole podcast. I think it's actually perfect.
It's really perfect, and like I am at risk, and I know that I am, and I will potentially be getting a cosmetic procedure depending on when I get insurance, and I think it's gonna have to be in November when I get it, and I'll pull the trigger on that one, and it's going to be really tough for my roommates that are in this space to deal with me for a month of being inflamed.
But you're constantly inflamed.
I can only imagine
Jesus Christ.
Every part of my body on the innards and outards are inflamed. When I wasn't eating gluten.
Trump.
When I wasn't eating gluten, I was the least bloated I've ever been.
Of course,
I know I'm allergic. That's what gluten
does to you.
I know I'm allergic
specifically.
But I'm like, it's enough. Enough is enough. Like,
it's never enough.
It's never enough. Everyone out here, they just want me eating lettuce. Like, that's it. Like, that's all I can eat.
Buttons, dirt, and seeds.
Buttons, dirt, and seeds. I can't even have tomatoes. Like, I shouldn't. I'm allergic. Can't even have nuts. But I have them.
And you can't even eat cockroaches.
But anyways.
What I was going to say is, I recently learned this, that you're not supposed to wash, like, if you're uncut, or I guess if you're, no matter what. And this, I mean, I think that all people with vaginas know this, because I know this about vaginas, so I think that that's common knowledge. But you're not supposed to really be washing your penis, like your dick, with soap.
Or what?
It's just like not good for you. Like it's not good for like the health. It's like you like, and like again, when you think about a vagina, that makes sense. Like there is like vaginal washes, which I think are also kind of like take it or leave it. But like the head of a penis is not supposed to like have soap on it. It dehydrates it and it like inflames it. I've been soaping up. I've been African net sponging.
Be the most unhealthy dick on the planet.
No, but I've been doing the same thing and I learned this like a few days ago through a Reddit thread, and since then, every time I take a shower, I instinctively soap up my dick, and I'm like, no. But I'm like, it's gonna stink then.
Now
it's gonna smell.
Not mine.
You think that okay. It has to.
Well, that was wild.
I feel like we didn't necessarily cover anything that we set out to speak about. I'm not exactly sure what this entire episode was about.
Me either, but I think that we had a lot of things to get off our chests.
Yeah, clearly.
And get off our asses, our fat donks. And now it's time to take some calls. Good children to the guidance office. Good children, get your ass to a therapist.
Hey, Andrew and Joe. This is Kiara. I've loved marathoning your podcast over the last month, starting from episode 1 and watching all the way through, including all the Patreon episodes. I wanted to ask y'all about media that has helped heal you as an adult, specifically in respect to helping you view your inner child with kindness and empathy. For me, I think of the movie 8th Grade, which absolutely destroyed me emotionally, and also captured the awkwardness and vulnerability of adolescence so well. I also think of a show like Pen 15, which was so hilarious, yet tender and beautiful. what media has helped you heal your inner child and why? And also for fun, who is Maya and who is Anna in your relationship? I think I know the answer, but it will be fun to hear from y'all. I hope you know that your podcast is joining the canon of pieces of media that are helping people heal and look back on their past with kindness. Love you both so much. Please come to Seattle again someday. Bye.
Should we scrap this episode?
I'm almost crying. I love when a caller calls in with like an MLA formatted question.
Yeah,
like
that was
it
amazing.
Actually is like my brain almost resets for a second.
Yeah.
That is so kind. That was such a kind voicemail. Thank you
Yeah.
for leaving it.
Thank you.
I feel like we're at a panel. That's like kind of the vibe I feel like
Yeah.
now. Suddenly I'm like, oh, it's very professional.
Yeah.
Who's Anna and who's Maya? I kind of like need to revisit that show and like really think about it, but I instinctively have answers.
Maya.
Oh my God. Oh, I guess I am kind of Maya.
I think that you're kind of Maya.
She's
I feel
like the
Anna was always,
louder,
like,
more
coming
annoying
over,
one.
and she's like a little bit, but she was like always like a little bit more
Anna
ahead.
there is the episode where Anna comes over and that's when Maya's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this
And like
bitch.
Anna's like with the mom.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Actually, you're 100% correct. Yeah, I would see you as the Anna.
Right?
I have to rewatch that show.
Same. It was so good. I think that definitely was a show that was healing. I think once it got to the healing parts though, I kind of was
dark.
like, it got dark and I was like willing to shut it out, but I don't think I was ready to receive it.
I also do feel like that show exists in such a lens of girlhood. Like I feel like that I think that when it got to those heavy parts, it actually just like didn't relate to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to go through those difficult, serious emotions as young as like young girls do. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a show that I was like, I remember watching it and being like, my sister needs to watch this show.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna feel like her actual life on camera.
Yeah. I would say, even though it's not like child, and I didn't experience it
1,
necessarily.
2, 3,
Heartstopper.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that was it.
I think that like I would watch that show and like cry and just recognize like, while that wasn't how my life was, it was healing seeing it unfold the way it did on camera.
Yeah, it really just showed me that like I know it's it's stupid, but like it showed me that was even possible.
Yeah.
And it really kind of broke my heart to be like, oh, I was in high school thinking this was like just so far from reality. Like, this was Mars.
And I'm sure there's others, but listen, that inner child meditation on YouTube, that might not be a series.
History. I have to scroll all the way back.
I think Joe needs to link that because that if you want to know something that messed me up, that made me wake up, that made me say, what am I doing with my life? It was probably that. And I'm sure you can find other ones as well. But like if you're trying to reconnect, do a meditation. Do something that's going to make you like get away from your phone, close your eyes, and like really envision yourself in who you were and reconnect with that person. Because, girl, that's why I have a podcast.
Yeah. Also, I think that that closing note about us joining that canon of things is really sweet, and it feels I feel undeserving. You know, I'm like, we actually like if that is how even one person views it, I'm like, I gotta hone in on that fucking point.
I know. It is. I think there are moments, even like last week's episode.
Yeah.
Which was like growing and like aging, that wakes. And sometimes we have those conversations and we're like, oh, that was like a dark episode. But it is like having those conversations and opening yourself up to, you know, connecting with who you are. I think that's really important, just being authentic. And today we were the most authentic we've ever been. Talking about riding dick.
Right. Well, we never even. Oh,
No,
I guess,
we didn't
I
even
guess
really
you
talk
did
about
cover
riding,
that.
but like that's the only way it can come.
Jesus Christ!
I'm sorry.
Oh, I feel like it's really, 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 really easy to when you talk about this as a job. I'm always like, stupidest fucking job in the world. Yeah. Like, we were so lucky we get paid to talk about nothing and like literally like do nothing. And I feel like that language that I've used constantly to like absolve some guilt for how actually incredible our situation is, like, needs to be cut out.
Yeah, I completely
I actually need to be like, yeah, it's actually really special, and I'm very grateful, but I don't need to, like, talk down on it to justify that.
Yeah. And I think that we also recognize that, like, I'll keep bringing them up, but the two idiot girls, seeing their show, I was like, it was comedy mixed with feeling inspired. And I think that, like, we don't trying not to lose sight of recognizing that what we say is inspiring to other people.
We gotta go. Okay. Hey guys. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I did not realize that this was going. Oh wow. Okay. So I'm walking my dog right now. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, a bat literally just flew maybe 2 feet away from my face. So that was actually the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me. Anyway. Whoa. Okay. Wait, also one of you has a dog named Otto. I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
Well, I do too. Anyway.
Wow.
Oh my god. That was horrifying. Okay. I'm so sorry. I guess the question would be, sorry, I really just lost train of thought. Okay, wait. Okay. Oh my god, there's a cicada. Okay, I'm going to, okay. Okay, guys. My question is, do you guys listen to these or, like, read them? Like, how does that work? How do you pick these? Okay, I'm so sorry. My dog is, like, trying to eat it. I don't really know what to do. Otto. Okay, we, like, can't. Okay. Okay, guys. Love you. Bye.
I'm obsessed with that voicemail.
That was one of the best things I've ever heard in my life.
I usually just, like, will read the first sentence. Like, that one, I just could tell something was happening because there was a lot of, like, incorrect. When you call in, like, there is a transcription. And it just looked bizarre in the transcription. And I was like, something's going on here. But ordinarily, like, I'm going to give you some tips on how to be selected. Keep it short.
Yeah.
Longer than a minute and 40 seconds, usually I skip it. I read every single one, but usually when it's long, I'm like, this is just too many words. Keep it short. Keep it stupid simple. And
keep it stupid simple, stupid.
Otherwise, that's kind of like the main thing. I love when there's an interesting, unique question.
Correct.
But, or you just go through a situation like a bat and a cicada and Otto the dog all at once.
Was amazing.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into this episode.
Listen, and I think that we're also educating those that are not a part of the community on, like, what it's like to be a gay man. At least I hope.
Don't forget to follow us across all platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Joe Hedges, on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe. And
what?
I'm launching my YouTube channel.
He has a YouTube.
I'm just posting long form versions of what I'm already making.
That makes sense.
But yeah, you can find that below as well.
I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella. I'm on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie. And don't forget to do your homework. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, send it to your friends, and spread the good word.
Don't forget, every single Friday you can find an exclusive bonus video and audio episode only on Patreon.
It's $7 and we're talking about things that we normally don't talk about on this podcast,
Except
even though
for
this
week
was kind of like a Patreon episode. But yeah, we really dish all that tea. God, sometimes I'm like, what's the point of being gay?
What?
Why did I say that?
What do you mean?
Dish all the tea?
Oh.
Anyways, we'll see you next week.
Mwah.
I feel the rush, I'm addicted to your touch. Oh, I feel the rush, it's so good, it's so good.